Do you dare gaze into the Siren's tome? For the secrets that it contains have weighed the hearts of many sailors to the bottom of the ocean. I filmed all of the footage for this project back in December of 2020. This was a secret Santa gift for one of my friends, and I just never got around to editing the footage. I really don't have a good excuse. But it's a really, really cool project. I really challenged myself with it, and I am really, really proud of how it came out. So I still want to go through all the footage and try and show you guys how cool this project was. All right, past Mads, take it away. Okay, I'm gonna run through the supplies that I got and kind of chat about my game plan and my approach and my inspiration for this project. So I ended up going with this guy, and it's just a wooden box. And so I just think that this will create a little bit higher quality and more durable product at the end of the day. So I'm gonna use that as my base to create this tome. So I got 2 sheets of just craft foam. I got just a cheap little piece of felt, and I got it in this kind of off-white color. Some cool like special effects craft paint. So my friend that I'm creating this for, his favorite colors are like purple and teal and mint and silver and very like cool and kind of mystical. The last thing, and probably the most exciting thing that I picked up, was a stack of round craft mirrors. They are 2 inches, and I want some kind of like centerpiece. I feel like when you have a cool old book, like I have one right here, the binding and the hardcover sticks out a little bit more. And I just think that it'll really sell the effect that this is a book and not just a box if the top of it is like sticking out more. I should have picked up like some chipboard or something like that for this, and I did not do that. So I can probably just use a piece of cardboard. I don't know. Let's get to some sketches. And as we kind of start getting closer to what the vision is going to be for this, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I harvested these from like the backing of an old pad of watercolor paper that was falling apart, and so it's just like a really dense, thick, like kind of particly cardboard stuff, but it's not corrugated. So I think this will be fantastic. My plan of attack is to glue this together like so. But the more I think about it, the more it doesn't make sense that the clasp is on the pages. But I think this is gonna have to go. I still want it to latch somehow, but it doesn't make sense that it would be on the pages. And it was at this point that past Mad's plan to do in-process commentary succumbed to her tunnel vision. So voiceover Mads is going to take it from here. I realized that the binding needed to be the same height as the covers, so I cut another piece of board to size and scored it down the middle to help the hinge function still. Oh geez, someone please get this girl an actual craft knife. Also, when were you guys going to tell me that I had paint on my chin? Anyway, I sandwiched the box, the hinges, the cardboard, and then the screws. Then I just glued down the board, and I used this fancy rig to make sure that it dried flat. Now that the structural parts are done, it's just the fun decoration from here on out. I grabbed a piece of tissue paper, crumpled it up, and used Mod Podge to cover the whole book in a sort of paper mache sort of technique. Obviously I wasn't too precious about it because that wrinkly, veiny texture was exactly what I was going for. I gave that a while to dry and then got to painting. The whole book got 2 coats of this gorgeous metallic teal, making sure to get in all the nooks and crannies. It's occurring to me that I'm not sure what a cranny is. You'll also notice the cord loop sticking out. I glued this underneath the cover, and this will be my solution for the closure situation. It will just hook up around a nail that I hammered into the top. While that dries, I started working on the 3D details. I was aiming for a fantasy nautical vibe, so I did a border around all the edges, which I cut all 3 sides out of one piece of foam. Then I found the center of the front cover and marked where that mirror centerpiece was going to go, and drew on some octopus tentacles. The friend that I'm building this book for has not 1, but 2 octopus tattoos that I helped design, so I thought this was a cool nod to that. I separated the tentacles and glued those on first. Initially, I wanted the foam frame for the mirror to look like a porthole, but it was too bulky, so I ended up shaving it way down. I did try to carve out some of the cover in order to inset the mirror, but it didn't work out, and I should have done that before the board got glued on. So I took my time and used a paintbrush and some Elmer's glue all. The little foam strips were a little finicky, but with a lot of patience, the frame was done. This is not a great shot, but I'm just painting the frame a metallic gunmetal color, and I painted the tentacles a dark purple. I took my time painting all of the edges of the foam, and I went back in with the teal to touch it up afterwards. I really wanted the frame to look like real metal, so you can see here that I added some foam rivets and painted them a slightly lighter metal color. Now the tentacles get jazzed up with some gold foil. I used a small dotting tool to add the glue to the suckers and the outline. I couldn't find a way to weather or antique the mirror that I liked, so I just slapped on some gold there as well to make it a little more interesting. I wanted this thing to look like it was pulled out of a shipwreck, so I mixed up some grungy colored washes and went to town weathering. I also added some rust around the rivets, which I think was a really cool touch. Once it was sufficiently nasty, I used some dry brushing in lighter colors to maintain the contrast. I used a light shimmery mint color on the main body of the book, and it made all of that tissue paper texture look really cool. The last step was the text block. I really wanted some actual paper texture, but I couldn't think of a way that didn't sound miserable to do. So I ended up just doing a white base coat and then painted the whole thing off-white. I then mixed up a tan color and got the scraggliest brush I could find and used long, light strokes to fake the look of pages. Because I was using a sort of dry brush technique, it did pick up some of the places where I got sloppy with the glue. For the insides, I made a paper template and cut out 4 squares of that parchment colored felt and lined the inside. This really helped elevate it so it didn't feel as much like a craft store box. And after 4 days of working on this book from dusk until dawn, I guess I was finally done. Roll the glamour shots. This project turn out super cool. I genuinely think that it is a beautiful piece. The reason that this project means so much to me is because how challenging it was and how successful I think I was. I am really impatient when it comes to creating things, and so the fact that I took the time to sketch things out and I took the time to measure things and I used a ruler and I did the math and I figured out the proportions, all of that was so new to me because usually I'm just impatient, and so I just eyeball things and I blow through it because I can't be bothered to take the time to do it right. And so it was really, really cool as a creator to slow down, do it right, and then see the difference, really see the results of intention and patience when it comes to creating something. I just was so excited to get another video out that was creative that I kind of didn't want to wait to actually do another project. So I went back through the archives. So yeah, but I think that I have talked about enough. So I really hope that you guys liked this project. Thanks for bearing with me with kind of this unique approach to the video. So I appreciate you guys so much. I am so grateful for everyone who comes and hangs out and likes to watch all of my creative shenanigans. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will catch you guys in the next one.